Don't
What's
fuck
going
him.
on?
You're in limbo.
Limbo, done in. All my reasons for running, no gun. Naked backwards through the brambles. Strip balls to this. Both fists smash your shit. Hip hop my walls to this. Sometimes you gotta think shit. I deserve more than this. A gift is not a gift, it's just some shiny paper holding a box of shit. Seen a lot of shit, swallowed a lot of shit. Nothing to cope and take it on the chin no more. This is what I got. Punching the clocks like being punched in the cock.
Treason, treason, bang 'em in the tower. Reason, reason, cause I am the power. Treason, treason, make 'em all understand. Reason, reason, cause I am the fucking man.
Yeah.
What the hell they're using that money for?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And you know, you can try and follow the paper trail all you want, right? But at the end of the
But
day,
a friend of mine that owns a business told me they are allowing another round of PPP loans for businesses, and businesses are lined up already, dude, for that shit, you know, because they're all barely getting by.
yeah, and you know, I don't understand anything about economics or how the economy runs. But what I would think is, if you have all these businesses struggling, you'd want to prop them up as much as you possibly can to keep the economy going. You don't want it to just fucking tank out, right?
Yeah, or at least set rules that you could stay open, but you can't have too many people in your store, something like that. At least let them keep working at some type of manner, you know.
Something.
But in Canada, what are they doing with if you got a restaurant in Canada and you know you're in, let's say you're in a very high price overhead location, like a mall, you're inside a mall or something with like a taco stand or taco shop or something, right? And
so
if you're forced to be closed down, what are they doing for the people that have to pay that rent, for the business owners that still have to pay that high overprice?
See, I don't know. I think at the beginning they had loans and shit in place to help that. But now
people make the payments, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. They did a lot of work at the start for small businesses, especially to make sure they wouldn't get fucked over. It's like the big box guys will handle it. They'll be fine. And if they can't, that's not, you know, they mismanaged some shit. They shouldn't be fucking shitty shitheads with their money then. You know what I mean? If you got someone like Amazon, say Amazon was struggling for money, it's like, well, sorry, bro. You make like fucking $80 billion a minute. Go fuck yourself. Like you got a dude that's working at, say, whatever, like a record shop that lives and breathes for a $300 sale maybe a day or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. It is crazy, man.
The regulations.
I mean, there are some, the thing, some counties are fighting back. Like some counties are placing lawsuits at the state level and suing the state, saying you don't have the right to close us down. And if you want to have the right to close us down, you have to show us science. You have to show us science that says outdoors, if I set up tables outdoors at my shop and I let people sit there, show me science that outdoors sitting down outside, people are getting sick. Yeah. That's basically what they're saying, you know? So judges are in this predicament where they're like, they even if they're, okay, let's say even if a judge is extremely concerned about COVID, he has to follow the rules of what says and what justifies a shutdown of a business, and there has to be some health concern that you could show evidence on.
Right,
you know?
and if they can't show that, then the business is well within their rights to keep operating, right?
Yeah, but you got to be a millionaire to have money to sue the town, sue the state, and like, you know, in LA, like all the top restaurants, all like the really high-priced restaurants got together and sued the state, sued the county to not allow the county to enforce the state law, something like that. And then the judge was like, okay, the county doesn't have to enforce the state law, but until the state law goes away, they can't open and all this shit, you know. Man, it's crazy because all this that's occurring is probably going to at least, and it might be a good thing, it will at least bring to the attention of younger people the real sketchy things that go on with money and how money's hidden, who gets the payouts when there's bailouts, and all of that. I mean, I hope we wind up learning something from it.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest hint I can give the younger people is it's not the little guys that get the fucking help. I'll tell you that. That's bullshit. It's not.
Yeah.
It's the big guys. The big billionaires that don't fucking...
Look at Joe, that guy Joel Osteen, or whatever that...
Lostin.
Evangelist, yeah.
Yeah. That super church asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, he got $4.4 million. And I mean, this is a guy who's a millionaire who... If you're a successful millionaire and you don't have the capital to last a year without business, you haven't set yourself up properly.
That's right. But no one should have to suffer for that.
You're not putting enough money in the bank, something like that. But normal people in America, that's the argument that most congressmen have now, is that you could keep talking, you could keep saying that the American economy is great. Yeah, it's great. But if American people are living, paycheck to paycheck on a 2-month, 3-month basis, then how stable is the economy? It's that's great, but it's only stable enough for a couple of months, half a year, and God forbid a fucking EMP comes along, the thing is done.
Imagine that, eh? Imagine a fucking EMP just shutting it down.
Oh, dude, if that happened now, forget about it. It's over.
It's over. That's it. It's fucking done. You can't do anything. You fry the whole fucking grid. It's toast. That's it.
Hey, look, at least the college loan, EMP is going to come down and freaking wipe out the college loans.
Yeah, that's a positive. Maybe that's the best thing we can hope for at this point. It's a fucking EMP to restart this shit. Talk about a restart. Here you go. Good old-fashioned EMP. That'd be insane. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everything's getting all fucking wacky out here, too, now. Like, our government said, or provincial government, well, we're not having Christmas. You can only have people that are in your house already in your house. If you're going to meet outside, it can only be like 4 people, 5 people outside gathering.
Did you see the way, what's the guy from the UK?
Boris
Did you
Johnson.
see the way Boris Johnson freaking shut down Christmas?
Dude.
He's like all factual about it. Well, I mean, can't have Christmas with all these things going on that are happening in the world, basically. You can't, how are you supposed to have Christmas? So it's only right that we cancel Christmas this year.
Oh my God, what a fucking idiot. Yeah, and I mean, because he was all gung-ho. Like, I talked to my buddy on the morning show. He's in the UK, and we were talking about this yesterday. He's like, yeah, so they gave us back Christmas, but then they took it away again. Because for a couple of weeks, they were saying, like, oh, yeah, you guys can have, like, 2 households get together for the holidays type thing, and that's it, and then we'll shut her down after that. But I was like, fuck it, it's not happening. Because they found a different string over there, right? Different string of the coronavirus.
That's what they're saying, yeah. Apparently.
Great. Fucking hooray.
That's what they're saying, man.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's like the UK has the cooties all over again.
Oh, gross, yeah.
They shut down those flights. We don't want none of those British people over here.
Yeah, we did. As soon as we heard that. It's like, that's it. No more UK. Oh, well.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to shut down flights or whatever, but
it's
I don't know, man. Fuck. And now, so apparently, I read today that the World Health Organization is beginning the steps into the investigation of where this came from, because there is going to be an investigation.
Just now? I thought there. Oh.
Well, technically, that's what they're saying. Okay, we're beginning. That's what they're saying. I mean, I don't know how much of it is true, but they're saying we're beginning the investigations into how COVID began. Which means they're going to start trying to like ruffle up paperwork, documents, you know, ask China where the funding was coming from for the lab. They're going to want to talk to the witnesses, the people that were sick, that were the first ones to get sick in China. They're going to want to ask all these questions. And China's already like this.
No, yeah, no dice. Come, fuck you. Yeah. Nothing to see here.
China's already like, no, the U.S. Army brought it over here. No,
We would never do that. Yeah, but fucking, if you look up Wuhan, they have like, my buddy JB was telling me this. He was saying how they're like the one place in the world that's doing a whole bunch of crazy like genetics testing and just like weaponizing fucking like mosquitoes and shit. Like they made like robotic mosquitoes that could potentially like, if it came from, let's say, what was the story that it came from eating a fucking bat or some shit like that? They said the theory was that, you know, if they had these mosquitoes sucking a bat's blood, then the mosquito would have it, then the mosquito's biting people. But kind of like the fucking plague with the fleas, right? But
ain't that some backwards ass war? That's like some backwards ass war.
That's some fucking.
But if you think about it, it's the thing you least expect. Because when you're expecting technology to attack you, the least you're expecting is for like flies to be the soldier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're not. Yeah, exactly. It's like you're expecting an enemy you can see, but if you can't, you know, if your country's fucking killing itself from the inside out, well, fuck, there you go. You even got to fucking drive a tank into town. Just let the people have their own opinions and fucking tear each other apart. You're good to go. Good to go.
Yeah.
It's like we'll psychological
warfare. I imagine they're not going to want to cooperate that much with the investigation. You know,
I can't see them going for it, to be honest.
No, they're going to take all the investigators to the food market. And they're going to be like, go in there. See why it came out of there. Go in there.
Check it out. Fuck, of course it came from right here. Look at it.
Right. The investigators will be like, well, I mean, did you bring the infected friggin' armadillo in there? Is that where you dropped off the infected armadillo?
Yes, that's right here. This spot right here. Look at it.
Yeah, go in there.
This violates health codes that haven't been fucking. Yeah. This whole fucking thing is a health code violation. It hasn't even been written yet. Look at it. Jesus Christ.
Labs can't release any more armadillos in food markets.
We know that now, all right?
That's it. That's the law that's the law we need, bro. Labs can't release any more infected animals in food markets.
That's it. Come on, guys. Just lock it down for Christ's sake. Yeah.
No but I read like some article. The Chinese are like, no. We don't know where this thing came from. Did you go ask the U.S.?
Did you ask Russia? Anyone else?
But it's a legitimate question, though, because I imagine Chinese people within their own government keep things extremely secret.
Yeah.
And they compartmentalize knowledge about things that possibly more and better than maybe they do in the US, because that's their thing, is to like not let people know things. And
that's right.
Even on the inside. But, you know, I mean, some of them may not even know exactly, and they might be like, I don't know, go ask the US what was going on in the lab. I don't have all the information of what's going on in here.
Yeah.
And it's a legitimate question to be asked, well, why was 32 million a year being sent to the Wuhan lab? I imagine there was like some effort together to try to combat a thing that might come in the future, you know, so it's not to say that it was, you know, that it was done deliberately, but could it have been an accident? Could it have been anything really? You know,
I just think it's one of those.
Ask all the questions, or else how the hell are you going to know?
Yeah, how are you going to know? Or was it just like as simple as someone walking by with like the fucking test tube of COVID-19 and oh fuck, all over the, you know, was it something like that?
yeah. I mean, there are some scientists that say that most likely, if it came out of a lab, it wasn't done on purpose. It was like some kind of mistake. It got on something, an animal that shouldn't have been released, got released. Yeah. Something, you know, somebody was infected with it and they didn't know it, and they went about their daily life, you know, they went to the food market or something like that. But the likelihood that somebody inside a lab got infected, I heard that it's possible it could have happened. You know, if they were like messing around with this new strain of coronavirus that had this extra protein that makes it super contagious and all this shit, it's possible, you know?
Yeah.
But one thing that should be said is I imagine very few governments would be honest if they made a mistake like that. The U.S. certainly wouldn't be completely honest if they made a mistake like that. China wouldn't be honest. The big power countries, they wouldn't be completely honest about it. They tried to hide something somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd try to hide it for sure, but, you know, I kind of wish somebody would just come out and say, look, we fucked up, man. Sorry. We'll fix it somehow. I don't know.
That shit comes like 50 years later.
50 years later, yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting that
years later be like, hey, remember when we lied to you guys 50 years ago? We were making a mistake. But we learned from it already. We learned from it. Don't worry about it.
The world leaders are just drinking together. Oh, we fucking got you. It's like the worst fucking prank of all time. COVID-19. It's like, we got you, you fucker. Jesus Christ. Remember 2020? Yeah. It's nuts. I don't know, man.
Fuck.
Depressing year.
I wonder what fuck, they extended the lockdown here. So I imagine fuck, man, people are gonna be pissed off, dude. If they try to keep locking down people too much longer, people are just gonna, because I think $600 ain't gonna cut it. I mean, I don't even collect it. I haven't collected a penny from any of the stimulus or anything like that. Nice. Even though I haven't collected any of it, I'm freaking disturbed at the amount of money they're trying to give people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane.
That's nothing. Like $1,200 isn't, at least here, that's not even rent for anyone.
Yeah, no. You gotta live like middle of nowhere for $1,200 to be.
Yeah, like fucking nothing. Yeah. Even 600s. Even
after they came out with the news, I saw somebody post on Facebook. They were like, people are 5 months behind on rent, and all they could give us is $600. That's what I read. Like, people are posting that kind of stuff, just like livid, completely beside themselves at how the government is behaving around all this.
Yeah.
And half of them don't even know the kind of money that's being handed out.
That's right.
Most people aren't going to know. The only reason I know is because of a person who does a radio show who used to be a Navy SEAL, who's now a legal analyst for a firm. Mm-hmm. They're like all into this, government hiding things from people because they were in the Navy, in the intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
They knew what kind of stuff gets hidden. So when they got out and they became a legal analyst and they now have protection and can speak freely as they want, he became this guy. He's got a radio show and he talks about a lot of it, but he's not like a super known radio guy. He just got like a once a week radio show where he goes on and he basically goes through some of the paperwork that the government is trying to file throughout the week.
Wow.
And he went through some of the bullshit and I was like, damn, it's bananas. It's bananas. And he was like even having skits. He made like this little skit where people were like in a celebration. You heard like a party in the background and he's like, oh, don't mind that. Those are the Egyptians. They just found out they got $1.2 billion. Don't worry about it. Just they're celebrating.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
And I'm not knocking on the Egyptian people.
No.
It's obviously the governments that are up to this shenanigan, whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah. Same with Sudan, you guys, whatever. It's never the citizens.
Army shit. It might still be like some Middle Eastern war bullshit, where they're like, we 1.2 billion for the army that we're compiling over here, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last I heard, the Egyptians were signing peace deals, right?
Well, yeah, I thought that's what it was. I thought a lot of countries over there were saying fuck it and just signing peace agreements.
Yeah, that might
Which
be
is horrible for the military complex.
Yeah.
Peace is bad for business, man. They'll do something.
But that might have been part of signing the peace deals.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting money.
Yeah, true.
That's what's scary, man, is that once you're known as the shark that pays people off to bring them baby seals to eat, you know, it gets sketchy because people can turn on you easily. They see that your intentions are hidden a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they see how money drives your intuition and your conclusions, and you know, they also get to see how you think that money can buy anything you want and all the power in the world.
Yeah. 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 And they know where to get it.
Right, right. So at that point, it's like, don't, you know, those guys are greedy. Those guys are fucking, they're always thinking sketchy things. And which, fuck, man, I mean, all the stuff that has come out about the US, you know, all the sneaky things we did behind government's backs and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just watching the show, you know, Narcos
Yeah.
was friggin' badass in realizing, oh yeah, that's right, the government was involved in all this sketchy ass shit, and you know, it had to be to fight the war on drugs. Unless if you didn't make Congress people think that you were fighting communists down there, they wouldn't even want to hear about it. Let the cartels do whatever they want. It's none of our business. But if they're talking to communists, then we need to kill them.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So it's always like this political posturing.
Yeah.
But you know, fuck, man. Too many dirty dealings.
That's right. That's right.
That's the story. That's the story of America. We're a great country, but we just make some bad calls.
Yeah. We hung out with the wrong crowd.
We got caught up.
Come on. This guy told me it was cool, man. It's not. It's not cool.
He said it was oregano.
Yeah.
The guy said it was oregano.
It was oregano, and I
We
was
didn't
like,
know what we were bringing in.
it looked like flour to me. I swear to God. Baking soda, I mean,
Don't
people
you guys
gotta
like fry stuff here in America? Don't we need more flour to fry things?
That's right. You guys like cookies and shit. We need flour for that. He said, "Go a whole fucking plane load of it." What the hell? Yeah, bring it over. Wow, some good shit. Makes my face feel funny. Oh fuck, man. So in a world where we're all on lockdown, what does Christmas look like? How do we try to keep the Christmas spirit alive and well? Is it possible?
I bought presents online. Where are you getting your presents from?
Online, yeah.
Online? Me too. That's pretty much where I bought most of the stuff that I'm giving out. That's the only way to keep it alive, man. You buy online.
Yeah.
No wonder Jeff Bezos is fucking making out like a fucking scoundrel.
Yeah.
They got everybody locked in, and you know, he's the store right now. It's the Jeff Bezos store.
People are fucking bored, so they're shopping. Looking for something to do.
Man. I saw a documentary that's really interesting. Have you ever seen the Frontline documentary on him?
What was it?
The Frontline documentary.
No.
PBS Frontline is like this. It's like saying 2020. It's like saying ABC 2020 or something like that, or 60 Minutes.
Okay.
But it's one of those shows.
Okay. I'll check it out. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it is on YouTube. If you put Frontline Jeff Bezos, it'll come up, or Frontline Amazon.
Nice.
And man, his business tactic was hardcore. when he first opened up Amazon, because I don't know if you remember, but it was just a bookstore when they first came out.
Right. Yeah.
It was just a bookstore, and what they did is, in the beginning of the internet, because stores at that time maybe didn't have full belief in the internet yet, or into web services yet, they weren't spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars in coding websites of their own. What they were doing is Amazon basically spent all the money doing the coding of the websites, storing all the data and all the information that goes on Amazon. It's all on servers that they hold and belong to them. So they basically just built stores for Target. They built a store for Walmart. They built a Disney store all within Amazon. They contacted all the publishers of the books that they were selling. Once they went digital, they contacted all the publishers and said, you don't need to print books anymore. We're just going to sell digital books. This is the way of the future, blah, blah, blah. But what they wound up doing is they wound up inviting everybody to open stores in their platform. And then eventually they wound up using the customer data and also the pricing protocol that they use with their products to do it themselves and basically compete against those same stores. So little by little, Amazon would say, let's say, okay, I'm gonna go to Firestone Tires. Firestone Tires, sell Firestone Tires on Amazon.com because we have the best web service, we have the best store. All you have to do is load pictures and load prices and send us the material. Or I think in the beginning, I think they were allowing companies to send it themselves. But all you have to do is this, and makes it super simple. And then what Amazon wound up doing is they wound up collecting all the data on the people that would buy from Firestone Tires on Amazon. And then they would wind up targeting to them Amazon tires instead of Firestone Tires.
Fuck, man.
So it was, and in the documentary, you see like some publishers that were shocked at how
that's sneaky shit, man.
How much of a shark Jeff Bezos was in like, nah, this is the deal. If you don't want it, then just take your product somewhere else. We won't distribute it anymore. It's like that, having such ultimate power that it makes it easy to go, all right, well, fine, we don't need you. Bye.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like this tiny person outside of the sea. You're thrown in the ocean, and then on land there's all these people selling your product.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Fuck. Bezos gives you a lifer after you say no, and then he just pops it and you're fucked. Fuck. That's insane. I had no idea. I knew they started with books, but I didn't know that they said, hey, let's see what you got there. Okay.
Yep.
Now we're going to undercut what you're selling, and then we'll just fucking sell it ourselves.
Yeah, it started with books, and then once they had the groundwork laid out and they had the website coded and everything on servers and everything secured, they started offering online retail space to, and online marketing and online presence to stores.
Yeah.
And then those stores were already competing with each other's stores, Yeah. So like Target is competing with Walmart, and Walmart is competing with Sears, the store.
Bring them all over here.
Yeah. And Amazon was just like, all right, you guys here, huddle up here. Let me see all the customers. All right, you guys come with me. Thanks.
See ya. Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
See you. Good luck. Have fun building your own website. That was like around 2008, 2009, 2010 is when he told all the retailers, all right, well, you guys, all the retailers wound up realizing what was going on, and they all one by one just started we can't keep a store on Amazon. The guy's going to own all our stores if we continue this,
Well, I know Walmart's doing that now, right? Well, I don't know how long they've been doing it for, but they've taken that kind of approach where they contact different sellers and shit and just sell their shit kind of like Amazon does.
Okay, so they're probably taking on some of the business model.
Yeah.
It's not bad. At least give Amazon some competition, man, Because they
And
can't
to be
be
fair, some of their
Amazon.
shit is a little bit cheaper than Amazon, but not much.
For Walmart, the
Yeah,
Walmart site.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen some things on there that were like priced a little bit lower than
a
Amazon
little
before.
bit. Yeah,
I've seen some camera equipment on there and stuff like that that was priced a little lower.
yeah, that's cool.
They might have different deals with different distributors. And
True.
you got to keep in mind, Walmart is the perfect contender to build an online presence like Amazon because Walmart already had all those
Such
Chinese
a brand.
distributions in place.
Yeah,
Walmart had all that Chinese distribution coming into their stores, and that's how Walmart became who they became, is because they were able to make tariff and import-export deals with China.
Mhm.
That's what made them so powerful. They were able to bring in goods at the lowest prices ever, and that's what made them powerful, made them be able to open up stores and obviously offer products at such a low price that people are like, yeah, I'm buying it there.
Well, yeah. Because when you take out all the overhead out of that, you're fucking whatever. It's all profit. You keep
Yeah.
costs low. You sell it. Fucking, you're making money hand over fist.
Yeah. And technically what Amazon did was morph the Walmart business model into an online business model that also kind of like sucks in other distributors.
Yeah.
Which at that point, obviously, and I imagine they did that because when you're online, mostly then you're not a prisoner to how big your store is, depending on how much product you want to put in there. I mean, the store can only be so big. You can't have every product in the world, but
That's right.
the Amazon warehouses, I think that the Amazon warehouse in Riverside, California is like the third largest building in the US or some shit like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, it's massive. I mean, when you drive by the Amazon warehouse in Riverside, California, you straight like driving a car doing 55 for like 2 minutes past it. Where you're like, for 2 minutes, and it's like warehouse.
That's fun. So if you live, okay, so do they in California then when you order something on Amazon, do they have like same day delivery?
They do. For some things, they do.
For some
And they
stuff.
come, at least from where I'm at, they come from that Riverside warehouse.
Yeah.
That's like one of the larger ones. And I imagine it feeds LA too.
Mm-hmm.
They probably send to LA from that warehouse.
See, that's fucking crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
And do they do the drone thing? I heard they were doing drones. They just drop shit off.
They haven't done it here, but it could be because California maybe has like some rule against drones or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I remember when they were saying, oh, all our shit's going to be delivered with drones.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean,
That's insane.
that takes big balls to say that, huh?
Yeah. It's like, no, I don't need delivery drivers. Delivery drivers call in sick. Fuck you. I got a robot. Robot doesn't need to take a fucking bathroom break. I'm gonna have a robot fill in these fucking orders.
Program that route. Once you have it programmed, forget about it. You could basically transfer the code to any drone, like that same program route. That drone's gonna fly it today and take this thing.
Yeah. Amazon brand drones too.
For real though. Fuck, man.
It's gonna take a
I
little
imagine
while.
that's the world that we're carving out, I guess, is you buy most things online and they get delivered to your house. Perhaps it's a smarter way to live. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
It might be a smarter way to live, but you're definitely sucking out like the business opportunity. Like what everyone's gonna have to become a computer encoder or a warehouse worker.
yeah, exactly. Because you're shutting down, when you do that online, you're shutting down the local shops. But during a pandemic, what can you do? You don't want to fucking. Well, I know they do curbside pickup, but for some shit, it's fucking Amazon or Walmart, man. That's it.
Like, what are some things that, like, I imagine tattoo shops would still exist, like a robot. People might not trust a robot to give you a tattoo or something like that.
Shout out to Nick. What's up, Nick? How you doing? I heard her
What's
shut
going
down
on?
again. God damn, she shut down again. Fuck,
That's right.
it sucks.
But I think she said, I think she had said that the government was going to let them open up soon or something. I don't know.
See,
Like
she
one
did
thing-
open. She opened for like, I think she open for like a week or two, and then they shut her down again.
Damn.
Yeah, like she's shut down right now. That's fucked, dude. It's fucked up. But yeah, like tattoo shops, I wouldn't want a robot to tattoo me. I'd want a person to do that.
Right. You know, one crazy thing that I read that record labels are using AI to find bands.
How the fuck? Like Spotify bots?
It's like bot searching, you know, looking for bands and doing statistical data mining on what bands are doing what with what numbers and all this other kind of shit. Which, I mean, I imagine it's making the great A&R guys that I know, it's probably making them friggin' blow a lid, you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, that's
Like, how
just
dare these friggin' things think
'Cause
that
you-
they know what.
because you were discovered by a fucking person. It wasn't just like, oh, I checked your fucking algorithms and blah blah blah, and you're a match and this and that, right? Like
Yeah.
that's so fucked.
But I imagine in the future, that's everything is going to be some fucking robot that tries to guess what it is that you might have, or
Yeah.
you know, it'll be a robot that guesses if you're prone to cancer or not, or if you're prone to something else, or if you're prone to, you know, being a great parent, or if you're prone to always picking bad partners that wind up in bad relationships, or if you're prone to, you know, anything really, I guess. In the future, it'll be that. Unless if humans stand up and say, no, we don't want this shit in our friggin' lives, in our society like this. Please draw the line somewhere, which is possible. I would imagine that somewhere along the line, humans will. But a lot of them are going to be like, sure, I'll take that microchip. How much can I know? Will I know everything if with that microchip in my brain, you know? A lot of people are going to want that. They're going to want to know everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's why I think today I was thinking about something that's kind of scary.
What's that?
That the need to know everything can also be this extremely dangerous thing. Because in needing to know everything, you start to put emphasis and intent on trying to figure things out. And then in finding out some things, you wind up starting to think that you can figure it all out.
Mm-hmm.
Where some things we might not really be able to figure out.
Yeah.
But here we are interlocked into this, we need to know it all, and we need to know all energies, and we need to know it, and maybe, you know, I think we talked about it before. We're like disconnecting from the nature side of things and really
Moving to the
becoming
technology.
interfaced human beings with data and technology and shit like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at some point it makes you wonder, is the whole mindset of science and trying to figure everything out in itself dangerous to the human mind, because or is it good because if it's part of the survival instinct, we'll only use it for further survival?
Right. See, that's what I think. I think if you have that urge to know. Okay, so when I think of the urge to know everything, I think science-based is good because they want to know everything, but they want to figure out how it works and this and that. But, you know, I picture these assholes that want like a chip to just be lazy and not do the work and just like usurp all this knowledge somehow and not know what to do with it, versus a guy that's like based his whole fucking career trying to figure out, why did this cell split like this? And like, you know what I mean? Like, I think from a science standpoint, that's a good. Yeah, but not like the guy that's like, now I know everything. Fuck yeah, you know, like that. I don't jive with that. I don't give a fuck about that. But I like the staying hungry for knowledge. Yeah, that's what life should be about: learning and fucking.
Yeah,
What
absolutely. I agree. I agree. I agree.
you gotta do the work
And,
though.
and most good great scientists, you know, and most great doctors tell you, oh, we don't. There's a lot of things we don't know. We don't, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of things we can't figure out. But it's the people outside of the science community that take on this, you know, mentality that, you know, we know it all, whether politically they know it all or whether scientifically they know it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of back and forth of like, I know it.
Yeah,
I try to maintain like some level of, we still haven't figured a lot of shit out. So let's everybody relax.
and what would the motivation or the end game be to want to know so much about everything? It's like, where are you applying it? Like, who gives a shit? You know what? Why wouldn't you just?
That's where I think the question is right to ask. You know, do we need to know everything?
Yeah, like I don't need to. There's a lot of shit I don't want to know. I'd rather just figure it out or have it be a surprise or just maybe never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sit there and just like close my eyes and wake up and be like, yeah, I fucking know everything. It's like, yeah, but you know, arithmetic will be fuck or whatever, you know, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Like when you
Politics,
think about the
whatever.
genius of the human mind, you know, like a human being can use the power of the mind to be the greatest chess player in the world that ever
That's
existed.
right. That's right.
Or they could use the genius, that same kind of genius of a human mind, to make some invention or create something that can be dangerous, where it's not as benign as playing chess.
Right.
You know,
That's
still
right.
requires an intense amount of brain work to be that good.
Yeah.
But it's a very benign, passive kind of brain activity. What's being done with it.
Right.
But you know, we'll see, man.
It's like that saying, jack of all trades, master of none, right? It's like, well,
Sure.
do I want to know everything or do I want to just be like, I'd rather be the master at like one or two things than just know random shit, in my opinion, you know? And not random shit, like, but I don't know. I like to figure shit out and be like, oh, hey, that was cool. Or, oh, that's how that, you know, I like to make the connections, not just like, oh, now I know everything magically. You know, that's not my shit.
No, I agree. I think that I definitely have that issue where I'm like, I try to find a little bit out about everything.
Yeah.
And then once I start finding a little bit out, I'm like, well, I'm not interested in that anymore.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like you could you take the part you want from that and be like, huh, all right, on to the next thing. But it's not like I have to know everything about this, and then I'm going to move on to know everything about this. Like, I'd rather know a bit about a lot of things. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. But no, I won't get the fucking shit. I'm not getting the shit.
Have they started rolling out the vaccine by you already? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They're doing the hospital workers at first and so all that.
Yeah. Hospital workers and seniors, because people are fucking dying up here, dude. Like 15 a day, like that's a lot for us.
Wow.
In my city,
Yeah,
like
bro.
my province, that's a lot for us.
The hospitals are full in SoCal. Around us, that's what they're saying. The hospitals are full.
Here too now, yeah.
I think that the healthcare workers were supposed to strike on Saturday.
You know what?
Working conditions were getting really bad and they're dangerous. And
yeah, I would not fucking blame a single one of them if they wanted to. We are asking them to do so much, and and I'm not saying all of us, but there's a large majority of people that aren't doing fuck all to help them. Like they're begging for help, whether it's better equipment to protect themselves, or like maybe more nurses that can be rotated in to give them a fucking break. Like, these guys have been going hard since the pandemic hit, and they've never seen nothing like this.
Mm-hmm.
No nurse alive today has seen anything close to this. And you have to think how they're running their asses ragged. Like, I saw some post on Facebook from a nurse here. There was a fucking anti-mask rally at my like Parliament office here 2 weeks ago or something. There's like 300 people on a day where like 12 seniors died. One of them was my friend's grandma, and she was like at work looking out the window from this care home that she was working at that was having a huge fucking COVID outbreak. And she's like, and this is the thanks that we fucking get. You know, you guys can be out there fucking saying, I'm not going to wear a mask, fuck you, and keep spreading this shit, but I'm in here volunteering from another hospital because they need fucking help now type thing. But this is what we get. It's like a stab in the back every fucking day, right? Like, I don't know.
And the people there that are complaining about that, do they live in the city that are complaining about?
There's a lot of
in the city, or they live outside?
Both, yeah. There's some in the city, but I think mainly this one was a lot from outside of the city. Because it's a freedom thing, right? They say, "Oh, you're taking our freedom," and this and that. You know, these fucking morons, dude. Like, they can't be fucking consistent with anything they say. Like, they'll sit there and say it's an anti-mask rally, but it's like, no. It's a freedom rally. We're not going to be on lockdown, this and that. You can come to our rallies and you can social distance and wear a mask if you want to. That's fine. It's like, but you can't sit there and say it's one thing and then say it's another thing. Like, pick your fucking brand, bro. You can't call it an anti-mask rally and then invite people to wear masks and come join you for your freedom rally. And they were like charging people to get into this fucking rally. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just trying to
funny you mention that. Today was an interesting conversation that I saw somebody having online, and it was somebody had complained if flights are going to be. Somebody had said, you know, our flights going to be like closed off if there's a new strain somewhere else. There should be flights closed off. And then somebody who was a Trump supporter had responded, and they said, why would we need to close flights off? When Trump closed the flights off, you guys said he was a xenophobe and he was this and he was that, and he was the first one to close flights off. But in my mind, you know, I initially went to, well, wait a second then. If you're a Trump supporter, are you for herd immunity or are you for closing flights off if there's infection somewhere? Which one are you?
Okay,
you know,
and we should try to.
You are arguing with everyone in your family, all your friends, everybody that has to do anything to do with knowing what's going on. Here you are telling people, no, let people get sick, open everything up, let it be whatever it is, don't have to wear masks. You are saying that, and then you're like, Trump tried to save us. He closed off flights from, you know, Wuhan.
Okay, and then fuck it, yeah. And let's rewind to when he did lock down all those flights, and he was being a fucking racist xenophobe. That was pre-pandemic, right? That was just him being a fucking shithead.
The thing that was retarded is there was flights closed off from Wuhan, but Beijing flights just kept coming in anyway.
Yeah,
flights from Beijing kept coming in, and you know, the Chinese people said, no, but we're not allowing flights from Wuhan to Beijing. Bullshit. They were doing everything.
Who's checking up on that?
Yeah. I mean, the same thing that people were doing to get home from Europe when it was going down. Yeah. People were doing to get back and forth between China and to get over here if they needed to. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, you got to, which is, you know, first you got to know what your belief is, you know? That's really like, what do you really believe? Do you believe that everybody should just catch it and get over it, or do you believe that we should be careful? There is a middle ground, sure.
There is, but what does the middle do?
Yeah, but you got to kind of make a decision what it is. It's funny when I see people politically using things that they just need to like argue for a moment, you know? Like, oh, but he closed off flights. Oh, but he closed off flights, but hold on. Don't we have the most infections in the world? So did the closing of the flights work? Why are you even using it as a positive point?
Yeah.
If the closing of the flights didn't do shit to save us from COVID, then why are we still bringing it up? Okay. If we have the most deaths and the most cases in the world, what did closing the flights from Wuhan do?
fucking nothing.
Nothing. The shit was here. It was done. It was just an extra week or not an extra week of it spreading, you know?
From the first fucking couple flights that came in from wherever was sick people on it, it was over. It was over.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I mean, and they're trying to say that, like, I heard some news article that said that the first case here went to Seattle, that it came from, you know, somebody that was sick from China that flew to Seattle Airport, SeaTac.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Stanford University in California says that they can prove that this has been here since November 2019, December 2019.
Yeah.
You know, they say that it was in California back then. It could have been a less contagious strain, possibly.
Yeah.
It might have been that
I believe it.
That it was around and some people were getting sick, but it took a big Chinese mutation of the virus to actually, you know.
Yeah.
And that would make it reasonable to think, if it did get out of a lab, that it existed for a while in China and they didn't say anything about it until a lot of people started getting sick, and that kind of made the virus mutate.
Yeah, because that's what people got to understand. We're not fucking epidemiologists or anything like that, but every time the virus is passed on to someone else,
what we're saying, okay?
No, don't take any of that. Just but every time the virus infects someone else, that's a mutation. You know, so think about fucking how many billions of cases or whatever millions of cases there are. Each one of those is technically a fucking mutation, right?
Yeah. The way that it was explained was the mutations happen when the virus has infected so many people that it can no longer spread easily. Then the virus has to reinvent itself in order to reinfect again, because it already drew out its course with.
So then, okay then. So then I'm looking at the second strain in the UK all wrong. It's like, we fucking got this thing by the balls now. It had to change. But the second one's coming.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And they, fuck, man. If the second strain is more contagious, like they say it is, but less deadly, maybe that's what's going around now, where more people are getting it, and it's making a lot of people sick.
But numbers of death, the mortality rate,
yeah. So it might have been something that was already here in the U.S. and we sent it over there, and we just didn't know about it. We didn't care to find out what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Not enough intense research is going into picking COVID patients and then studying what went on in there, you know, individually. I imagine some doctors are, you know, on a patient per patient basis trying to. I would hope
so.
I imagine some doctors are, yeah. But is that information really being distributed properly within the CDC and within the World Health Organization?
I can guarantee it's probably not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of doctors sometimes keep things within their patients, you know, and a lot of the development that they had when they had a disease, they don't necessarily, you know, write a paper to send off to somebody for the CDC to consider. Some doctors do, but it's very few doctors that actually are in contact with the CDC and other, I guess, organizations in the government.
Yeah, like WHO or whatever, like that. Yeah, because CDC would operate under its own fucking umbrella. They don't talk to physicians in the hospital, right?
Yeah, no, but I imagine that there's got to be some protocol in place.
They would have to send
when there is an outbreak of something for doctors, some doctors in the regions to have direct contact to the CDC, or there's got to be some kind of, maybe it goes through the health department in the town. The doctors have to contact the health department, and the health department maybe contacts the CDC. I don't know what the hierarchy to the chain is, but most doctors, you know, most doctors, like, for example, when when they started finding out that COVID doesn't affect people as bad in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, but when they started finding out that it leaves some residual effects, some people are now having heart palpitations because of it, and
Kidney
you know,
issues
they're
and
having
stuff
this,
like that.
yeah, or they're having this other like nervous system issue apparently or something. They're obviously figuring out how it affects people differently.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't know that they're taking that to the health department. That's going to require like some massive study, you know, that comes from the top, that reaches out to the local health departments. The health department that reach out to all the doctors, gets information from all the doctors.
Yeah.
Something like that has to be done eventually.
Something has to be done, but you know, when you put it like that, like there's so many fucking variables, so many different variations. Like you said, it affects everybody differently. And if you try and get a swath of, you know, you take 10,000 patients that had it, you're going to have 10,000 different fucking results. So they don't have the resources to deal with that right now. So not right now, but
yeah, and especially in the US, most of the medicine is privatized, and most of the research is done on a private level, meaning, you know, these people aren't getting paid to call the town to let them know what's going on. They're getting paid to resolve the issue with the patient and move on to the next patient. You know, they're not getting paid to like quantify data of how a person got it and should the town know and all this.
yeah,
But that has to come from the government down. You know, the government has to come in and say, doctors, we need to know all the information. How did people get it? You know, these are the tracing, you know, applications we're going to use. And please, if somebody gets sick, make sure they're using the app, letting people in their family know that they can say it, blah, 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 you know? But if that doesn't come from the top down, no doctor is going to develop an app for nobody, or no doctor's going to be like,
that's not their fucking job. Yeah.
do this, you know?
Get down here. Yeah, you know, they don't fucking, they don't do that.
Unless it's Ebola or something like that.
Yes, Jesus,
if
I
it's
think.
like killing people in 2 days, at that point, maybe then there is no, you know, but if it's something like that, then fuck, then we're really fucked.
Don't they have something that can treat Ebola now, I heard?
Yeah, at that point, the doctors might be like, close the offices, I'm going to my deserted island.
That's
I don't want to touch
Fuck
this
you.
shit.
I'm out. Yeah, watch everyone just jump ship. Fuck you.
Right.
You're on your own now.
Yeah, the doctors will just be like, well, I guess I'm going to my deserted island. You guys can figure out how to cure this shit on your own.
Didn't listen to me before? Good day. Look out for the eye bleeding.
Well, I don't even have the health department's phone number. I'm going to my deserted island.
You'll want to call this. Forget it. Yeah.
Just put a sign up on the door. If they
Back
have an
in
issue,
5
call the
years.
health department. Put a sign up on the door with the health department's number. If they're sick, tell them to call them.
I think I have Ebola. Oh, yeah, just stay where you're at.
Put all the vaccines in my briefcase. I'm taking them with me.
Call us back if you're still alive Wednesday. Yeah. That's what we can do. Jesus.
We're just doctor bashing. Now we're just doctor bashing.
Yeah, we should, but it's just, I remember seeing like a couple of years ago when I was watching CNN, it was like Ebola patient being rushed to such and such Washington hospital. I was like, what in the fuck is happening? It was like doctors that were working on Ebola, like contracted it, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? That was so wild.
Yeah.
They had like the whole fucking convoy on camera, like, oh, they're 5 miles out now, blah, 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 blah. And that person, like, they lived or whatever. Like, that was cool. But I just thought that was fucking wild. Hazmat suits all over the place, all that shit. It's crazy. It's like outbreak in real life.
Ebola shit was definitely scary because, you know, when you see pictures of people that have Ebola, you're like, oh my God.
Jesus
And
Christ.
another thing that's scary is that it kills kids as easily as it does adults. And that's what I think draws the line of like what really is a disease that is as fearful that we should be of, you know?
Yeah.
If it's something that kills kids, dare a human being be arguing against wearing a mask for something that is legitimately killing kids? I might want to like fight with them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that's
We
just
have to get into a fisticuff fight
dude,
over it.
for real. Yeah, that's just it. It's that's and I said that before. But like that's why I wear a mask when I go out. Like I got little guys that are fucking immunocompromised, like asthma and whatever. Like I don't know. I want to get fucking sick. I'll wear my shit, and if you won't, well then go fuck yourself. It's like so you're basically saying, fuck my family. Then you know what I mean? It's like that's how I take it.
Yeah, and anybody you come in contact with, even when you go to the store, you could be a couple of feet away from someone, and if that's the mentality you have, it's not just your family you're really, putting at danger, but it could have been the person, 2 feet away from you at the store. I mean, we know that masks help, but it's not like definitive that if you're close to somebody, you'll never get it,
That's right. That's right. They help, but they're not 100%.
Then you touch your face, or you might, there might have been a gap in your mask and you went by a whiff of their breath. I don't fucking know, but it's not no sure shot. So it's definitely, you're not, I try to be as careful as possible, dude. I got like a little hand sanitizer. I don't like to overuse it because they say overusing hand sanitizer is not good, but under the current situation, if you can wash your hands in your car, use fucking hand sanitizer,
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You do that before you. I saw some fucking meme. It was like, does anybody else get in the car and take their mask off like they just failed an operation on Grey's Anatomy? I thought that was fucking funny because I totally do. Jesus Christ! But it's 5 minutes of your life. Like fuck off. It's not a big deal. I'd see if you had to wear it for like 14 hours a day or something like that. That might get annoying or whatever, but then eventually you get used to it, I would imagine. But I don't know. It's just funny. Damn it. Lost another one.
Over here, I'm definitely seeing everybody wearing masks now.
That's good. Good.
A couple of months ago, there was still 1 or 2 stragglers you would see,
Do you kind of just eye them up when you're wearing your mask? Like, you motherfucker. Yeah.
What was that?
Do you eye them up? You like look at them like, yeah, dummy, wear a fucking mask.
Well, I mean, I don't eye them up, but, I definitely think in my head, like, bro, do you really fucking gotta be like some kind of rebel? Like, what's the point in being a rebel? Just then, if you're gonna do this, especially when it says in front of the store, wear a mask if you're coming in the store. If you walked in the store and you were able to do that, then next time I dare you to walk in without your pants.
Yeah, see what happens.
Because the store needs you to wear pants to walk in it too. And I feel terrible for the people that work at the stores. They don't want to be fucking harassed by these people, so they just give them whatever they want. They try to get rid of them as quick as possible.
It's bullshit. I don't think that anybody in those stores should have to fucking put up with that. Just wear your fucking mask if like they ask you, because up here everywhere indoors you have to wear a mask now. If go to businesses
here. But it's the same here. Unless if you're like a private store owner and you don't want to demand it at your store, you could do that too. They won't give you shit, I guess. The police department won't come and arrest you if you're like, it's my store, it's okay, people don't need to wear a mask. They're not like going to arrest you for doing that.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
but your attitude might definitely cause some people to get sick.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure.
Well, I saw a video up here of like a greeter at Walmart told this guy to, you got to put your mask on when you come in here, and this dude like beat the fuck out of this kid. This dude's like handicapped, man, like fucking mentally disabled, and he got his fucking ass kicked by some piece of shit.
Wow.
Like, I was so fucking mad. I still get mad thinking about that. And it's like, I would just go and like hang out at the fucking door with these guys to be like, no, you put on your fucking mask. You may not listen to him, but you'll goddamn, try that fucking shit with me, you fuck. Like my buddy had a good idea. We're all a bunch of bouncers or ex-bouncers. Like, why don't we just fucking round up the boys and go stand outside these businesses that want you to wear masks? And I guarantee every fucking person there would wear a mask. Pay us $50 an hour. Make sure. I promise you, they'll either wear a mask or they won't be in the fucking store. That's it. But
Yeah, over here you still got the friggin'. I mean, in California, everybody in I guess in like Cali, New York, in California and New York, people take masks seriously.
That's because you guys are.
I don't know. I don't think they do. I'm not sure if they do. You know, I mean, I know that my older daughter tells me that she sees people in Kansas City all the time without masks.
Really? Eh? Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't.
And I mean, and she had it. You know.
Right? How's she doing? How's she doing?
She's
okay?
doing. She did okay. I mean, she took about a week and a half, 2 weeks. It totally hit her hard, you know, but she got through it. She was like really bent and, you know, feeling extremely ill for like a week.
Yeah.
And then she got better. It didn't affect her breathing.
That's good.
But her mother got hit pretty hard with it. Her mother was having trouble like just walking a couple of feet without losing her breath. And, you know, her mom is a healthy person, doesn't smoke or anything like that. So it's obviously, it affects some people differently than others. You know, I think that, and her mom isn't like old or elderly or anything. It's just, it affected her a different way. And it took
Is she
like
doing
3 weeks for her to be able to get back to moving around normally.
That's fucked. And yeah, like that's just it. You don't know what the long-term effects are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the people that it hits hard, they once they get it, even if they're younger, 30, 20, 40,
bounce back.
it makes them go, oh shit, you know, whoa, okay, I could see how this could really affect somebody that's way older.
Yeah.
Or, you know, even apparently babies are also prone to having risk with COVID because they don't have, you know, their own
like immune system.
immunity to any virus, you know. So luckily toddlers and younger kids are okay, but babies and elderly people are the ones that are, you know.
Yeah, like I think our one son, we're pretty sure had it before this thing started, like back in, it would have been January here. January, I think. But he was fucking sick as fuck. Like he was done. We had to take him to the hospital.
Wow.
His breathing was not good. They did like a swab and he tested negative for pneumonia and flu and whatever else. They couldn't find. They said, oh, it's just a virus. Well, you know, and he bounced back, but he has asthma now. So he's got medication he's got to take every day, and it flares up every now and then. It flares up worse for him, it seems, in the winter, but now that he's too.
Man, that sounds like definitely it could be like.
I guarantee if he got his blood tested for antibodies, I fucking guarantee he'd have it. I guarantee he'd have some. You know, but I'm not gonna make a blood test for that shit. But you know, I'm like 90% sure that he fucking had it. Because there was a ton of people in that room, in the emergency room that night with the same sort of shit. And he was like a wet noodle. It was fucking crazy. And they sent him home. They gave him some medicine, some antibiotics, and said, okay, I'll go home. It's like, well, what the fuck? You just keep him? Like, please? But they sent him home. He perked up after the antibiotics and shit. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's sad. It's sad to see little guys like that, you know.
Fuck, man. That's like the one present. That's the 2020 Christmas present. COVID.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck. Fucking. Fuck.
How many people you getting together with people?
No, we're not.
Yeah, we're pretty much staying low. It's just me
You
and my
can only
roommate.
have.
His kids over, and his parents might come over, but it's only two more people, so it's not really a lot of people.
Yeah, like I think they said that you can have. Well, before they said it was going to be like you could have like 5 people in your house, and then they changed it to, you know, if you live with a family of 4, that's it. You can't see nobody else. So I don't know. We'll do the Zoom thing with Grandma and Grandpa probably and whatever. and buddies if they need to talk or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of people that are alone. So if you're listening to this, you got my fucking email address. Hit me up, guys. I'll fucking shoot this shit with you if you're sad. Whatever. Christmas sucks for a lot of people. I don't fucking, I don't care about Christmas that much, but I do it for the little guys. They like it.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't got my kid with me, let's Zoom, bro.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll Zoom with you, buddy. No problem.
My roommate will have his kids. I got some presents for his kids too.
That's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's where the magic is. It's for the kids, Like if you can't have all the family together, like that's what I miss. Like my family was so big on Christmas when like my grandma and grandpa were alive, because we would have everybody pile into their house, and there'd be like fucking 30 people and just like eat our faces off and open presents, and just that was always like the one time a year, like your guys' Thanksgiving, where you have everybody would come home and just pile into grandma's house, and then once grandpa passed, I stopped going home for Christmas. Then my grandma passed a couple of years ago, so it's like, well, I don't know.
You mostly celebrate at home now?
Yeah, for sure. Well, then I'd go to my other grandma's house, but now since we went there last year, and like pretty much every year we'd go Christmas Day night over there. We do Christmas Eve with like my family, then we go over to the grandma's on Christmas Day. But now because of COVID, she went into the hospital in March with like a broken hip, and they never let her go out again. They never sent her back home. They had to put her in a care home. So now she's one of these care homes that's all fucking overrun with shit. I think.
Yeah. My grandmother was in a care home.
Yeah, it sucks.
But if she has like an issue like a broken hip where somebody needs to really be there.
Yeah, that's where she needs to be, because my grandpa can't take care of her. Like he's like 90 some years old. Like he can't.
Yeah.
And you can't go into the care homes to see them.
Important. That's when it becomes important, having them somewhere that somebody can assist them at any time, at all times.
That's right. But now of course with coronavirus, everybody's getting sick. All the people that are supposed to be there to help these guys. There's one.
I mean, some of the retirement homes still don't allow visitors.
Yeah, they don't up here. They had to get. I don't know if it was here or in like another province over, but they brought the military in to go and help out at these homes, because there was residents that couldn't get up anymore without the nurse helping them. Well, all these nurses are run off their asses. They're fucking sick themselves, and they can't, they're not at work. So there's literally seniors in their rooms all day, like isolated in their little fucking 4x4 whatever room, like that's horrible. That's depressing as fuck.
Yeah. I think that's probably why it's good if all the retirement homes will get vaccinations for elderly people, at least allow them to have visits again.
Something, because that's got to be just fucking worst. Like,
at least allow them visits, man. I know a friend of mine, man, who had his father pass away. They didn't even let him see his dad in the hospital before he passed. Nothing. They told him he couldn't go see his dad. It broke my heart to hear about that,
Yeah, that's so fucked.
Crazy. And then a friend of mine it's weird because in Germany, I feel like other countries have better, when things like this happen, they have better, more strict, but also more compassionate regulations. Because I heard somebody that had not a parent that was sick, but it was a childbirth. And the policy that they have to hospital visitations there is that it can only be one person per day. You can't have more than one. If you have one visitor that day, they can't leave and have somebody else come back.
They're there for the day, or
yeah. And that to me is a little bit more realistic than like you can't see your parent who's going to die tomorrow because they had a heart attack.
See, up here you can. But again, they call that compassionate, compassionate care or something, or end of life care. If you're there for end of life care or compassionate reasons type thing, and then they'll let you have like, I think, one for sure, maybe two. But it's pretty much in and out. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that,
Yeah,
and that was so fucked up. Like how you couldn't even like, I know for when this first started, you couldn't even have funerals. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, what? All these people are still waiting to have fucking funerals
that's
for all
true.
this shit.
That's
Like, what
true.
the fuck is going on? Like, it's been just.
Yeah, I imagine they're probably like taking care of that privately and not really putting it in the news. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And I respect that for sure.
I also
Absolutely.
heard that New York was having issues with the trucks that they got with dead people in it still, and there's a
Still?
conclusion still, and there's a conclusion that I came to, bro. The bodies in New York City of those people that died of COVID that are still in trucks have been unclaimed because these are most likely people that are here from other countries just working, whether they've been here for 10 years or whether they've been here for 2 years. They're probably here from South America. They lived in New York, or they were from the Caribbean and lived in New York and were there without their families, but they lived there. Who's going to claim their body?
They
You
haven't
know?
heard. Family doesn't hear what happened.
Yeah. Who's going to claim their body? Even if a friend knows that they died of COVID, is a friend really going to claim a friend's body to now spend $5,000 on a funeral for a friend? People can hardly survive. Like,
Not on the fucking $1,200 fucking stimulus check. Not on the $600 bump up, dude.
yeah, yeah. And
Don't
I
be
mean,
doing that
if you
shit.
have, and if you die here of COVID and your family's in South America and you don't have family here to claim your body, you only got friends, chances are your friends are not going to claim your body. So then all you got left is your family in South America is going to claim your body. They can't afford what it costs up here to go and have the body, give the body a proper burial and funeral. Forget about it.
No.
That's why that's why bodies are
Just
still
there.
in trouble.
I had no fucking idea they were still there.
Yep, they're having some issue with it now, or not an issue, but they're like now wanting to talk about like what are they going to do with the bodies in the trucks in New York that are still in there from people that died of COVID that had nobody claim the body.
That is so fucking sad to me. That is so fucking sad.
Yeah, no, it's like that, dude. I mean, even in my family does construction in the New York City area. They hire about 10 to 20 people yearly. Two of the workers were workers from another country. They were here, had residencies. They didn't have family here or nothing like that. They were just here for years and had been working construction. They lived together in the same apartment. They were like 55, 60. Both dudes died in the same apartment from COVID. Apparently they were sick. They didn't have in New York, dude, to get a doctor to give you care if you don't have insurance or if you don't have like Medicaid or something like that is nearly impossible. And if they do give you care, you need to be ready to receive like a $10,000-$20,000 bill to your house within a week, 2 weeks. That's how bad the medical situation, the getting medical service situation is in New York. These guys just got sick and we're like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll get past it, We'll just deal with it. We're sick, we'll get past it. And they both died in their sleep. They probably couldn't breathe or whatnot. Who the fuck knows, I don't know the technicality of it, but a lot of people died like that in New York. They don't tell you about it. A lot of people died in their own homes, in their own beds. Just like those two guys that worked for my parents' construction company. And because of it's just a bad situation, dude.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation to have a privatized healthcare system and then have something like this affect your country. And everything is based around making money from medicine. And now you have this issue. And, the resources are all stretched thin. But the hospitals have really been doing everything they could.
Yeah.
They don't, if somebody shows up sick, they don't deny anyone.
They don't turn them away. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't say the hospitals are really the scumbags,
It's not the hospitals. It's the insurance guys and the fucking
That, well, technically, the way the insurance policies are set up within the laws of the government. Yeah. And the legalities of medical coverage are fucking horrendous. I mean, my ex was a representative for Quest Diagnostics, which is like one of the large testing, blood testing, disease testing, but they do a lot of like blood palette work and stuff like that. And she, I mean, I don't know shit about it, but I remember her just being like, it's a disaster. The way that the medical system is set up it's good for some people, and then once they started trying to make it fair for everyone, some of the insurance companies didn't want to comply, so they just made it more complicated for anybody else, technically drawing a divide between should the country be allowed medical coverage for people that can't afford it, or should everyone be forced to pay for medical coverage? So that's where it drew the divide. The people that were getting medical coverage that are like, oh, I have it from my company, but not all companies operate at a level of having enough revenue to offer medical coverage.
Yeah.
A lot of companies still operate at a subcontractor, level where you subcontract out your work, because that's the only realistic kind of way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people died in their beds because of COVID, dude. In New York, a lot of old people died like that. A lot of elderly home deaths were people that were laying in their bed and, they just died. That was it. Whether their hearts gave up. My sister had told me that a lot of people were having heart issues with COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
That once you got COVID, it made elderly people had this elevated heart rate, and a lot of them died from a heart attack because of the COVID and the fever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the body trying to fight the fever with an elevated heart rate causing a heart attack. The fever was so bad that your heart accelerates because it's trying to create more blood to fight
the fever. Yeah.
And in that, I guess if you're old enough, fuck.
That's what I heard is the biggest problem with it, is that your body, it triggers such an immune response in your body that your body's immune system that fucking kills you. Just trying to fight it. So it produces too much whatever to try and get this shit out. And you can't, that's what the fluid is that suffocates you. That's what I heard.
The fluid in the lungs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. My sister was saying that some of the autopsies on the lungs of COVID patients found that there's this white residue that covers the entire lining of the lungs on the inside. Which is, that's I mean, those are the people we need to fucking listen to. The people doing autopsies.
That's what I mean. That's it. You gotta listen to guys doing autopsies. You gotta listen to the guys that are on the front lines doing the shit. Don't listen to the fucking government mouthpieces telling you whatever, creating division, this and that. Just look, are you a nurse? Did you have to fucking intubate 30 people today? Then I'm gonna fucking listen to you because you had to deal with it. And you would rather not have to deal with this shit.
To even think that every epidemiologist is part of some scandalous friggin' plot to do so, it's insane. Epidemiologists go to, they become doctors, they study research. It's not like they're not studying business, how to get paid.
They don't care. Yeah.
In order to make fake viruses or something like that.
Yeah.
They're being trained on how to study things that already exist.
Yeah. Not make new shit. Yeah.
But you're right. It's gotta be the people that are doing autopsies that are seeing what's happening to people
firsthand.
It has to be, man.
You can't just have some asshole that doesn't know his fucking head from his ass say, well, this is what we're gonna do. It's fuck, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you a doctor? Yeah. No. Yeah. I trust doctors. I've always trusted doctors and shit because they have an idea. of what the fuck's going on, but some politician doesn't. And we've talked about this before. I'm very whatever with politics. I don't trust nobody in a goddamn suit telling me what to do. But if someone says, you know, for the good of everyone around you, you better wear a mask. Okay, I'm going to ask what the doctor says. If the doctor says the same fucking thing, yes. Not because you told me to, suit boy, but because the medical community's opinion is that this will at least help something. Then I'll do that.
The funny thing is that the human brain is because look, even doctors that weren't seeing cases, doctors that lived in cities that were not affected by this at all, were the doctors that, you know, would tell you, no, that's nothing serious, you know, it's not, you know, everybody survives from it. But the doctors that are seeing, you know, people come into their hospital almost dying, and they're like 40 years old or 50 or 60 or whatever, you know, those are the doctors that I'd be listening to, you know, not the ones that are like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
With some online YouTube show, you know, talking about the doctors that are saving people.
They don't coming out saying this shit. They don't. Exactly. I saved fucking 30 people. I'm going to make a fucking vlog about it. Go fuck yourself. They don't do that. They're
the doctors
back
that
in
are
there.
like treating COVID patients, they're not talking about it.
They're not talking about it. And you know what? And I don't know if they will. You think about PTSD and shit with like veterans. That's what this is going to be for the medical community. You know, if you ask them, say, were you working during the pandemic of 2020? They'll say, yeah. Do you want to talk about it? I can't fucking talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're trained on how to deal with.
Oh yeah, well,
but not on this level. Any nurse will tell you they were never trained to deal with death on this level.
Not on this level.
Battlefield. What they're facing in the hospitals is like battlefield medicine. You know, where everybody's coming in with similar wounds.
It's triage. It's fucking triage all the time.
Basically. Because by the time you're getting to a hospital, you know, most people are able to hopefully stay at home and get fine. But if you're showing up at a hospital, it's because you're really concerned something bad's happening.
Yeah.
You know, I doubt that you get this and you're like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit ill. Let me go to the hospital.
Nah, you have to be in some fucking distress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's fucked, man. Like, I don't know.
But we'll see, man. I mean, fuck. I hope they don't keep us locked down too long, dude. I hope that this strain isn't a new strain. I hope. Damn, you know, how much longer?
Yeah.
And everybody's feeling at this point. I think everybody around the world kind of feels the same.
Tired.
How much longer? Yep.
Tired and just defeated.
And everybody was thinking like, maybe Christmas, you know, the holidays will bring everything back to normal.
Then they cancel the fucking holidays.
And they were like, no, people dying. Stay home.
Yeah. You know, and then there's the guy that say, well, people fucking die every day from all this. It's like, yeah, okay, we get it. Yes, you're right.
Dude,
but
I mean, the people that say that are so ignorant, dude. The other day, for like a few days in a row, there was more than 3,000 people dying in the U.S. a day.
Yeah.
And it took, I think there was 1 week where a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday took the record as number 2, number 3, and number 4 most deaths in the country.
That was before Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor and 9/11 were the other two.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, so it's that serious where like every day the same amount of people that died on 9/11
died.
The same amount of deaths that are occurring across the country like that. You know, it's pretty serious, dude.
That's very fucking serious.
When you got one thing killing as many people as the worst day at Pearl Harbor, it's probably concerning, I would imagine. You know, maybe me and you, we feel like, okay, if we get it, might be okay, we're good, but
yeah,
I don't know if everyone would be good, you know. I mean, I saw how it affected the mother of my teen daughter, and she's, you know, a healthy human being.
Yeah.
When I heard she couldn't even walk more than like 10 feet without losing her breath, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
In my head here, I am thinking you got to be 70 years old for it to affect you like that.
Yeah. Well, I have a buddy that lives in Wales, and his wife is a nurse at one of the hospitals there. And she saw all sorts of shit like that. She said that she had it was either a 19 or 20-year-old kid come in, no pre-existing anything, young kid, done. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, she said that fucked her up. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there was like a couple of famous people that were healthy wound up getting it and almost died. Like there was a comedian that Joe Rogan had on his podcast. That dude was intubated for like 3 weeks, you know, and he didn't look like he was like high risk or nothing. He was just a normal individual. Well, Joe Rogan had said that maybe because he was doing like a comedy circuit thing and had to fly from one town to the other, that maybe he wasn't rested. So his body was so depleted from being on tour
that it was
that COVID hit him hard and fucking took him for all that it could, you know? And it makes sense that you could be like a bad week in your life where you're exhausted, you didn't eat right last week, you didn't sleep right, and your body's just not in any shape or form to fight off whatever it is, you know, it's going to throw at you.
Yeah.
It could be realistic that it could happen. Like it could be that, or it could be, you know, fuck, man. I don't know, but they got to figure it out, dude, because how much longer are we going to stay locked down? You know?
I don't know. I didn't think it would be this long, to be honest. I thought it'd be...
Neither did I. Remember, they were like just a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, we'll be fine. We'll see where we're at. It'll be no problem.
When it all started, they were like just a couple of weeks.
Seems like fucking 5 years ago.
Yeah, here we are.
By the way,
they extended it again.
I've got to give you your fucking Canadian citizenship card here now. This is your 5th appearance on the podcast during the pandemic.
Dude, for real, right?
Fuck.
In December, we're like, they extended it again.
It's so funny. As soon as I knew it was getting that we were good. Okay, here's what I've learned about the Rona in the eyes of this government. Okay, so you can't get infected with the Rona after last call at the bar. Okay, you're fine. 11 o'clock. You can still go to restaurants, no problem. Just a smaller capacity, of course, but it's fine. Rona doesn't dine out. It's very frugal. No problem. Doesn't go to restaurants. Doesn't go to big box stores, so fire away. But you can't have people in your house because Rona just hangs out in the corners waiting for grandma to come over. And that's it. You know, because this fucking asshole up here, he says, I'm going to limit the big box stores capacity on Boxing Day. But before that, go fucking nuts. You know, go hard. Yeah. But the little stores, the little guys have to offer other alternatives to stay open, like curbside pickup and shit like that. But Walmart can just fucking go for it with however many people they want, whatever. But they still gotta wear masks, supposedly.
Yeah, the non-essential businesses got so fucked out of this deal.
Fucked.
The non-essential businesses got so screwed. They should have been given some guideline at which they could remain open at some level, because that would have only allowed them on a month-to-month basis to get better at providing service with the guideline. You can't open, you know, and every time you're reopening, it's newer guidelines, and every time you close, and then you reopen again, and the guidelines change again. You can't, if at least you would have been like, look, you can stay open, but you have to be super strict or you're going to get shut down, and this is the only level at which you can operate. Yeah, but at least leave it at that. Businesses a chance to get better at it every month, and to little by little adapt and figure out, can I stay open and offer business at this level and make the money that I need to? Or do I offer business at this level and start to think about closing, whatever? But at least they're, you know, have better information to make conclusions on.
Yeah. a lot of the restaurant guys up here are saying like we'd rather just be fucking shut down completely. Because like exactly like you said, opening and closing and opening and closing.
Yeah.
Cutting my staff and then having to hire.
Well, think of it this way. There, if they're getting help from the government, I could see how that, and that is the right decision because
Because he wants to lay, they want to lay people off so then they can make money. Because if they
well,
get,
if
if
you
they
really
fire
want to
them,
limit the spread, and if you really want to contain it, the smartest thing to do is that.
yeah,
But if the government isn't going to provide people with money to pay their bills to stay home,
Yeah.
you know, it's
exactly.
that's why in America you see all this half open, half closed kind of thing, and and then people are like, well, then if that one's not doing it, then I'm not going to either. You know, you kind of get that mentality a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
If they don't have to do it over there, why should we have to do it here? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that also came from the government not taking it as serious as they should have in the beginning, you know.
You watched that documentary on Prime called "Totally Under Control."
No, but I'm gonna want to watch it when we get off this call now.
It's about Trump's response to the pandemic.
Oh fuck, I gotta watch that, dude.
Bro,
I saw the one Frontline did about it, but I haven't seen now.
This is different. Totally Under Control.
I gotta check it out.
Check it, dude. It's good. I watched it. I was like, fuck, man.
But I mean, it was, you know, and I bet I'm almost certain that everything that's on that documentary is everything we witnessed happen right in front of our faces.
Yep.
It's just we were just like.
But to see it broken down in such a way, and then you hear these guys that were like, they're like, nah, I fucking told them this, and this is what happened.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of cool. They went and had like guys that work at the CDC that said, it's like, I got a letter about this shit in November or January. Like, this is probably a pandemic. Look out, get this and this. It's like we were running simulations on how to deal with this. And we said, we went to Congress and said we needed X amount of dollars to make sure this is ready to go. And they fucking denied it because it wasn't happening. And they had documentation that it was coming type thing. So it was very frustrating to watch, but a total eye opener for anything like that.
You know, it's another scary thing is that we can't, as a society in America, what happened is when this occurred, because the government kind of maybe didn't react the proper way, or because maybe there wasn't the proper amount of right and factual data getting here, most of the people, instead of blaming the government, or at least it was a little bit divided as who they were blaming, but the people that didn't want to blame the government started blaming the World Health Organization. And we need to be careful with how disconnected as individual countries we become from other countries, because we're in a world society here where flights are going everywhere every day. And if we're going to be ignorant and say, well, fuck them because we got this thing and they didn't protect us from this time,
right?
It could get dangerous, because what happens if we don't have an organization that can monitor where diseases are popping up and keep an eye and spread, and at least begin to have some kind of policy that it's important that we know what's going on everywhere with diseases, and it's important that all countries know if it's serious enough.
Yeah.
We need an organization like that. You know, we can't be so dumb to be like, oh, because my government doesn't lie to me, it must be the World Health Organization.
Yeah, WHO, whatever the fuck, WHO 2020, whatever this conspiracy bullshit is. It's all for the WHO agenda. All of this is the WHO agenda.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not to say that mistakes aren't made. Fucking mistakes are made. But we can't be ignorant and be like, oh, no, let's disconnect from the WHO, because what's going to happen then is the CIA is going to be the only agency that can get into other countries to find out what is going on with diseases. You know, and I don't think that we want to be in a situation
Or you have to
Where-
send the fucking CIA in with a goddamn swab kit and a fucking wet team to figure out where this fucking string of influenza came from. It's like,
And then
fucking
what happens?
red
And then
team
what
go. Yeah.
And then what happens? Then the other country is like,
It's
they
active
send
war.
the fucking CIA over here. Who the hell do
Active
they think
war.
they are? They're world police. Then we got that. The best thing we could have is some somewhat neutral organization
Like the WHO.
that is at least trying to do the job however they fucking can.
I bet the first
They
thing
might not
Biden
get it right
does.
all the time. They might not get it right all the time, but I'll tell you this much. I think after this run, I think it's even more imperative that
That you
the
have
World Health Organization kind of become a more in tune thing. And, you know, we're going to need information from we're going to need information from countries that are having these kinds of diseases pop up, dude.
Yeah.
We
There's going
can't
to be a huge.
disconnect and expect the CIA to be like our medical community, go find out how many people are dying from like the new coronavirus. You know, I can't.
Just fucking sitting with your goddamn binoculars, fucking taking, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Full on stealth mode. Like, holy Christ.
They look like they can't breathe, Sergeant.
There's 12 of them right there. I can count them. 1, 2, 70. Okay. Gonna hold up my fucking wind. Okay, it's blowing from the east. That's the Rona.
They're connected to some kind of apparatus. It must be a communication device.
Yeah, that's right. Gonna have to just torch the whole fucking thing. Get in here. Remember the kill shot.
Keeping them alive. They're keeping them alive with those things. Maybe they're aliens.
Fucking aliens. Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
Yeah, that's the last thing we need. A bunch of freaking CIA knuckleheads trying to find out how a disease came to be, you know?
Leave it to the doctors, the
For real.
epidemiologists. Just the people that know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm going to be interested to find out how the investigation turns out.
Me too.
I'm sure that there's not going to be a lot of cooperation, but that's why the World Health Organization exists, to try to figure out what is going on, is it spreading, let people know if it's spreading, and then find out how it happened. You know?
It's just interesting that I think over in China right now they have, it's like nothing ever happened. No restrictions, nothing. It's fucking fine.
Really? Are they fully open already?
Open. Fully open.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That is
Oh, it's
interesting.
gone now. If we gave it all to you, it's fine. We gave the last of it to you.
Vaccine?
What's
Do they
that?
have a vaccine in China?
Probably. They were making one. China and Russia. China and Russia were making one before Pfizer stepped in and said, nope, we're the American one. We'll get, you know. China had one probably 3 months.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to see like on ABC nightly news, you know.
I'll never fucking tell you.
China's protecting all their citizens with vaccines 3 months before the U.S.
You don't you have a fucking civil
Oh,
war.
hell would break loose.
Yeah, that would be
Where's our tax money going to?
not vaccines. Oh, fuck, I don't want them anyway.
No. Not to study how
Not
to
from
keep
the
people
Chinese,
alive,
yeah.
yes.
I saw another funny meme about this shit. When it was this guy says, look, I don't care if there's a microchip in a vaccine, hell, I will let Bill Gates shove a whole iPad up my ass if it means I can do drugs in a bathroom installed at a music festival again. No cap.
That's amazing.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Fuck,
man.
good point. Yeah. I'll let him shove a whole iPad up my ass.
Dude, that could also be a good joke, though, for people that complain about the vaccine.
Yeah.
Be like, dude, what are you complaining about? Steve Jobs shoved the freaking iPhone 12 up your ass 6 years ago.
Shove it up people's ass. That's what I hate about all this. It's like, oh, they're gonna fucking put a microchip. It's like, right here, microchips right here, buddy. They're tracking you there before they'd ever fucking worry about rolling out some big goddamn thing like this. You know?
How many people you think are showing up at the doctor being like, you have to let me see the liquid before you inject me?
See your microscope, please. Yeah. I knew it.
I need to see that
Nanobots. Yeah.
underneath the magnifying glass.
Looks good.
I don't see anything floating around in there, John.
There's some chunks in here. What is that? Yeah.
You go first. I'll go next. Coast looks clear. Oh shit!
That's what I'm saying. It's like
once the people that are anti-vaxxers and how they're vaccinated and their parents were vaccinated too.
Yeah, probably that's fine. Sounds like a conversation we'd have. Yeah, I think we did. But I mean, I'm not. And we talk. I'll get the vaccine, but it's going to be later, later on.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait. I want to just at least make sure that it's working.
Yeah, and the people that need it get it first, right? It's not going to be rolled out to the regular folks till April or something. I think.
I'm not worried.
No,
you know,
I'm not in a rush.
Like they asked my sister works at a hospital. She was asked if she would take the vaccine, and even her response, was at first, I would have to look at some of the data in order to. But she works in a hospital atmosphere, so she understands study evidence and data that comes out of studies and how the FDA approved it and what data they needed to approve it and all that. I wouldn't understand none of that, but she told her job, I would take it, but I would want to look at the data first.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame any medical professional that would want to.
No, I would look at the fucking data too.
Yeah, definitely. But it is good to know that it doesn't have the actual virus in it.
Right. Because that was the thing that they always said with vaccines, they have a little bit of the virus to get, or whatever, a little bit of the shit to make your body fight against it. But they don't do that with this one. But it's a 2-part one, isn't it? Isn't it? You get one and you get another one?
Yeah, it's a 2-part one.
Yeah. One for the first string, one for the second string.
I think the way it works, that's what has people like bugged out about it, that it's an RNA vaccine. And what it does is it blocks the one protein growth that your cells have that allows for the COVID
to attach
virus
to it.
To attach to the cell. So that's why people are like worried. They're like, but this changes your cell structure.
But it doesn't. That's how vaccines work.
Yeah, and I get it, I get how people could be concerned, but if nobody died from getting the vaccine,
right?
It would have been talked about. If somebody died, if gave the vaccine to somebody and someone died, it would have been talked about.
They would have found it. The CIA would have found it.
What you're gonna have is like allergic reactions.
Yeah.
In Alaska, a couple of nurses had an allergic reaction to it.
How severe? Do you know?
They were in the hospital for like a day. So they wanted to monitor them, but they were fine. They didn't. It wasn't like
anaphylactic episode. Yeah. That's good. That's what
I don't know. I mean, it's just one fucking vaccine, man. I understand people that have kids that are like, I don't want to give my kid all the vaccines in one day. I get it, that's a lot, and there's real viruses in some of those vaccines, and I get it. It makes sense, okay. Yeah. But you still vaccinate your kids throughout a window of time. You still do it. So this is just one fucking vaccine, man. I mean, babies get more vaccines shot into them, than what you're getting into your body. The thing is that it's new, so everybody's kind of worried. That's
the biggest thing is it's so new, right? But when you take all the red tape, you take all the fucking bureaucracy bullshit out of the way and just say make a fucking vaccine, you'd be surprised how fast shit can happen.
Yeah.
A lot of times vaccine all comes from funding. That takes fucking forever to get the funding, to get these assholes to pony up the cash to make something like that
happen.
That's
the thing. That's the thing, is that it's the funding. People don't want to understand. When people are like, why is the richest man in the world involved with vaccines? Okay, I'm going to tell you why. Ready?
Because
I'm going to break the whole world's heart right here. Yeah. I'm going to break his heart.
Preach.
The reason why the richest fucking guy in the world gets involved with vaccines is not just for business reasons, but because creating the shit is the most expensive fucking thing you could ever think of.
Yeah.
It takes millions, billions of dollars to do research on how it affects people, how, you know, vaccines work, what is proper, the liability, just the liability in doing vaccine research.
Huge.
The insurance, just the insurance in doing vaccine research and doing it on human beings is a multi-billion-dollar scenario, you know? So we live in a world where if we're gonna learn that yes, privatized medicine is good for one thing, okay? It's good for influencing research within medical companies that are interested in eventually making a ton of money from this research.
That's just it, yeah.
So it influences this really intense research out of, you know, the interest in making money and growing a company.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if there is going to be a rival to privatized medicine and the type of research that privatized medicine can bring, you know, I mean, there are countries that do it on a more private, but in work with the government, like Sweden does a lot of, you know, privatized, but also government research. But you would think it's definitely not going to come from like countries that have mostly government research, because those people are making, you know, a regular salary. They might be driven to do it, you know, and they might be driven to do it just out of the drive to learn as a human being to accomplish. But certainly, I guess money has at least influenced medical research to take on a whole new level, you know. And out of it came AI. AI came out of medical research.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So in it being the most expensive fucking thing in the entire world, there's like 3 or 4 people that could do it, that could invest money into that, because that's how much money it takes to even get there.
And you got one of them.
Mistakes made. Will innocent people die? Will there be mistakes made? Here's another heartbreak. Nothing is ever perfect, right? Like, what the fuck is ever 100% perfect?
You want to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. You know what I mean?
Nothing is ever perfect, even in a completely sterilized environment like an operating room, where all the tests were done beforehand, all the imaging was done. They zeroed in on the problem spot. The doctor has performed this surgery 10,000 times, 10,000, 20,000 times. In this room, the same surgery occurs every single day. All, you know, even with that, 1% of people still die in operating rooms. 1%. That's the rate the hospitals are losing surgery patients at, about 1%.
Yeah.
So, you know, nothing is ever perfect, because when you consider, even in a scientific, sterile environment, you still get a 1% error in things, whether it's because of
you'll never have zero
human, or whether it's because of the mechanics, you know, or the procedure used, whatever it is. But nothing will ever be perfect, man. That's why
you still have, you know what, and the thing is,
shit's gonna happen. Shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if you had robots, AI working on all this shit in the lab somewhere, they would still program it to have that percentage of human error to base their results on, because you would calculate human error. They would program that, so you can't be perfect because nothing's fucking perfect, right? They would still have that on their data chart.
Well, the whole idea, like, for example, it's an interesting scenario you bring up. Like, how does a company program AI in a real life environment without without programming also the room for mistakes and the risk mistakes and human behavior? It's probably impossible, you know. But I think that what they're hoping for in AI is that because it's a learning algorithm, they're hoping that if you program all these things into it, the AI will not only give you a possible result, but it'll make you aware. It'll bring up things that should be of concern. You know, like if they're programming a certain algorithm to tell them how many 30-year-old people might die of COVID, you know, they might program everything that has to do with that into the machine, but they might do so in hopes that they get some new information that they couldn't figure out by just looking at the data.
Right.
Technically.
Right.
It's just, all they're hoping is that a robot, this is technically AI, ready? A robot that is able to look at all the information in one shot, all of it in one shot, and remove a lot of the human psychology and conditioning to why you came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a tool. I think it's going to be a tool that we can use greatly as humans, man, but it's going to be another one of those things that, you know, people are going to be using it for fucked up shit too.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, once they have AI for anything, I could see criminals using AI to figure out, you know, mistakes that people are making to log online, shit like that. It could get really risky and dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. There's anything could happen. That's just it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's one thing we've all learned from 2020, it's that fucking anything can happen. Because I never would have thought this shit would ever happen, the pandemic or talking to you or whatever, you know?
Dude, I never would have thought that weed would have been legal in New Jersey in my lifetime. I listened to the Illage podcast you did, and that motherfucker didn't want to stop talking about weed, bro.
Holy fuck. Such a good guy. So super smart too, eh? He's good.
Oh yeah. I fucking love him.
Good guy. It was just hilarious. And you told me that too. Thanks for the fucking idea. Christian DMs me. He's like, tell him congratulations on getting legal weed in Jersey. I did.
Yeah, no, because I mean in Jersey, cops are fucking, oh my God.
Dicks.
Oh my God. I mean in Jersey, I remember I was like 17 years old. They arrested me for having half a joint in my pocket. You know, I mean, what was I going to do at 17 with half a joint in my pocket, man? Like, what kind of danger am I really?
Yeah.
You know? But it was the taboo back in the day, and, you know, drugs are drugs or whatever, even if it was just weed. And now look at what we're realizing, you know? It really didn't fuck up. It didn't make you kill anyone. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't freaking be putting people in jail for it.
You didn't go and knock off a house for your fucking joint fix. It's not
right.
It's pot.
If anything, you know, it's like the more passive stress reliever that you could use, you know.
Yeah, it's better than alcohol.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they say that alcohol, if you drink alcohol a lot, that it actually induces more stress after a certain amount of time that you're drinking every day, that it actually induces more stress, and the only time you'll feel relief from the elevated
drinking more
stress when you drink. Yeah
I drank for a long time.
You did? How many years?
Oh fuck, probably 15 years or so.
And you started drinking when you were a teen?
Yeah.
Same with me.
Well, then I quit. I just fucking quit.
I'm trying to think the first time do you remember the first time you got drunk?
No. So there's a lot of first times there.
I remember the first time I got drunk only because I puked, bro.
Oh fuck.
And it was good that it went that way because I learned my lesson the first time.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson the first time. It was like, whoa, this is
Gotta
dangerous.
watch that. Yeah.
I was like, this is dangerous. And to make it even worse, it was Southern Comfort. And on the way back up, Southern Comfort is like one of the most disgusting alcohol sicknesses you could have, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You're gonna
drink.
be, if you're gonna be horrified of having
Drink Southern
drank
Comfort.
too much, it's gonna be Southern Comfort.
One time I drank, I don't know, I was fucking annihilated. I don't know what I started drinking, but I ended with drinking 151. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, I have, but not as just like a one time. It was an experiment, but you'll never catch me buying a bottle of that shit.
No, I had a shot. That was it. I was already blacked out. I was like, I'll have a fucking shot. It's like, yeah, but there's a fucking fire retardant cap on that fucking bottle, bro. That's the pure
Wow.
alcohol. I was like, yeah, I'll have a shot. Okay. Straight. Black fucking puke. It was
Wow.
disgusting. That was the worst I've ever felt in my life. I fucking quit my job the next day. I was too hungover to go to work. They said, if you miss work again, you're fired. I was like, I just called and I fucking quit. I can't do it.
You just call up and be like, guess you must have to fire me today.
Well, yeah, because I was running a shitty fucking call center, and I just like to fucking drink whatever. I give a fuck. I was one of those guys. I was like, well, if I have to work all day, I can still fucking drink all night because the nights are mine. Fuck you, you know. That's it. I made a bet with my supervisor, or I was trying to call his bluff, right? I said, what are you going to do if I fucking show up here hammered tomorrow? He's like, well, if you show up drunk, you'll be fired. Or if you miss work because you're hungover, you'll be fired. I was like, we'll see. We'll see. I just felt like such a beggar. Should I fucking quit myself? It's like, you win.
Oh man, and having to call up people while you're friggin' hungover, that's kind of terrible.
Head's just pounding, trying not to fucking puke talking. Oh, I don't miss that.
I used to do like construction and shit like that. So like if I felt hungover,
Just go sweat it out, yeah.
yeah, and then you're like, once you start moving, you're like, fuck, okay, I guess. And then you wake up while you're doing it. So you're like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
But fuck, almost like having to deal with people, I guess, while you're hungover is the issue.
I hate that shit. I fucking hated that.
I remember, oh man, I mean, I did like the normal teen drinking, not teen, but like, early 20s drinking like everybody might. On the weekends, some beer, getting wasted a couple days a week, something like that.
Yeah.
But I forgot, probably, I imagine maybe going on tour
Yeah.
and then experiencing what drinking felt like every day after 30 to 60 days is what made me say, I don't want to drink anymore.
Yeah.
Realizing how it started to make me feel, because then I would go on tour and then it started with like one tiny drink before the show just to loosen up, and then by the end of like the 60 days, it was like 3 shots before the show and 2 shots during the show and then finish the bottle after you get off stage, Yeah. So it once you start to experience what that made me feel like, I was like, fuck, I don't want to drink.
Yeah.
And I just realized, I guess I'm just not a drinker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I remember coming home from tour and just, the shows were great. And I mean, it felt like we were having awesome shows, and I wasn't the only one doing it, but, everybody was kind of having a shot before the show or something like that. But I remember like feeling exhausted from drinking after like 60 days every day. You just like, fuck, I'm shot, tired, can't even sleep right anymore. It just wasn't my thing. I guess if somebody is like prone to drinking, they might have stayed drinking when they went home, but I would go home and be like, nah, I'm good.
Dry out, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just always kept going for it for a long time. Stupid shit. Now I drink non-alcoholic beers. See, right here.
I mean, I'm not allergic to it. Like,
no,
it's a friend's birthday and he's like, come on, man,
Yeah.
Do a shot. It's not like I'm going to sink back into alcoholism. But I can understand how some people that were heavy drinkers can't have that drink because, they might get back into it.
I used to be, it's been like, I think it's been a year since I had a beer. Like prior to that, it was, years and years, but I was doing a show and I was like, fuck, I'll just have a fucking beer before I go on stage, because I used to always do that. I'd have to, if I wasn't hammered before I went on stage, I'd have to have something. You know, get the nerves out of the way, right? But yeah, it was last November I had an actual real beer after my set. So I did my set sober. But yeah, I don't miss it, you know. I don't miss it. I miss shows, but I don't miss drinking.
Yeah. I mean, I could say, like, I guess because I like sweet drinks, I miss, like, I like the flavor of like a margarita.
Yeah.
You know? Like I could drink margaritas like water every day.
Yeah.
If it didn't get me drunk. You know? Because the flavor is so goddamn good, dude.
Just mix up some non-alcoholic ones.
I would, but I'm already chubby enough. I don't need those empty calories. If it was to get drunk, it's different. You're using the calories to get drunk. You got to justify it, you know. But
I'm burning off these
calories. Man, I'm better off sticking with water, bro.
Fair enough, yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, but I know some people that like the O'Doul's. It's got a non-alcoholic beer, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got some straight edge friends that like will drink an O'Doul's every once in a while. You know, they used to drink beer, but they don't anymore. They're straight edge, so they just drink a non-alcoholic beer once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That shows definitely some like devotion to beer, you know? It's like, well, I used to drink, but I stopped drinking because of maybe the way it made me feel.
Yeah,
but
not the taste.
Still devoted to this taste, goddammit.
So people are like, oh, I can't believe you like drinking non-alcoholic beer. It's like, well, I like beer. I didn't like being a drunk fucking reject. I liked the taste. I don't like puking my fucking guts out, fucking fighting people and bitching at my wife, but I like beer. Like, right. It's like,
I don't want to.
Not the flavor's fault.
Because I mean, you don't imagine they would have a drunk pill, right? Like, would people opt out for the drunk pill instead of like having to consume all that liquid to get drunk?
I don't know.
God damn it, drinking 24 beers tastes goddamn it too long. I'm gonna take the drunk pill today.
Just one, and you don't feel as full.
I think I need to be wasted in 15 minutes.
Well, just enough time.
Well, but then again, I don't know. Yeah, then again, I guess you could down enough liquor to be drunk in what?
No problem.
Like, what's the fastest liquor would hit you?
Depends how much you drink. If you go in
like
shotgun,
guzzle.
You like, guzzle. I think if you guzzle 3 beers, then like
one
5
right after
minutes,
the other, you feel it right away.
Yeah, you're good. Or shots.
Oh, dude, if I guzzle 1 beer, I feel it right away.
That's right.
Like,
That's how fast you drink one, and then if you pound it, you'll be like, whoa. I think you probably.
Oh, dude, I drink a half a beer, and I'm already like, whoa, I'm buzzed.
I'm so drunk right now. Yeah. It's my first time.
You know, after you don't drink for long enough, it feels like the first
time. That's right. It's like fucking lifting weights.
Like,
you can't. That's heavy. You know?
You gotta handle this stuff.
It's like working out. Fuck.
It's like,
I haven't ran for a while.
Yeah. It's a Corona Light. Calm down, man.
Easy, bro. It's a Corona Light. We used
to have tried, what's the strongest beer you ever had?
The strongest beer I've ever had?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I guess
I think like percent wise, I think I've had some like 10% beer.
Okay.
Because in the States, like, no offense, but your guys' beer is fucking pussy shit, dude. It's water. Yeah. That's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was asking, because in the States everything's like really low, but I have had like 12%, 13% beer in Paris.
In Paris, yeah.
In Paris, they have like super fucking strong beer. I remember the first time, and this is like when I was on tour and kind of drinking every once in a while.
Yeah.
So my tolerance wasn't that low. And I remember drinking one tall boy before going to the Paris catacombs. It was on vacation, and I was like, all right, I'm a down a tall boy before going to the catacombs. Dude,
Good for you.
I was fucked up. And I'm thinking, it's just like a slight buzz, just to have fun before the catacombs. But it was like 12, might have been like 14%, man.
He's like, I'm fucking drunk, man. I'm cut.
Yeah, I was drunk at the catacombs, without a doubt.
That's so
I remember it,
Yeah, that's good.
I just forgot at the end how we got out.
How the hell did we get out of here? Yeah. We used to have me and some buddies would do wine. Buddy started it. We called it Jack Daniel's Day. It would happen in the summer. The rule was that you started drinking at 11 a.m. You had to at least try to drink like a 2-6 or a 40 all day. You had to take shots every hour, and we'd set a timer. You could drink in between, but you specifically had to do shots every hour. Yeah,
wow.
That's fun. Yeah, those were usually early nights because I'd be like fucking passed up at like 8 o'clock at night. Just like, fuck it. If you start drinking at 11 in the morning, hard alcohol, yeah, it's gonna happen. Christ's sakes.
Oh yeah. I mean, shit, I remember anytime I ever took a Caribbean vacation, it was definitely like wake up and make a rum and coke.
Yeah.
Just like hang out at the beach all day with like an iced rum and coke inside the thermos and shit. In most of the countries, they don't care if you drink on the beach too,
Really?
which is awesome. Like in Costa Rica, you could bring beer to the beach and take it in the water with you.
That's sweet.
You don't want to be the piece of shit guy that breaks the glass in the water.
No, you had to do cans.
They do let people, drink and stuff like that. Over here in the U.S., I think they're strict with it. They don't let, because I know in Jersey they didn't let beer on the beach. In Cali, they don't let beer on the beach either. I don't know if in Texas they do.
Okay. They don't even really have like open alcohol here. Like walking down the street drinking beer, I think you get a ticket for that.
Yeah,
I never
same here.
have.
In Vegas, you could do.
What's
in
that?
Vegas, you can walk around with.
Yeah, Vegas. Yeah.
Vegas was like, that's a bad rule for here. We need to not have that one.
Disagree. Yeah, it's like we disagree with that rule. So
Yeah.
What are you
Don't
gonna do?
accept cookies on that one. Don't accept the cookies on that rule.
don't accept the cookies. We're Vegas, baby. Come on. Yeah.
But in Rome too. In Rome, you could walk around with,
Don't they like when you get off the plane at Rome? Don't they like hand you a bottle of wine and say "fucking go for it"? Like,
Well, I don't know if we do that, but you could definitely walk around with a bottle of wine, drinking all you want.
going for it.
And they got like these little, they look like train trolleys, but they just sell alcohol out of them. Like every beer you could think of and different types of wine. They sell them all around town.
Like a fucking hot dog stand, but wine.
Yeah, pretty much, kind of, yeah. Little trolleys with like 100 different beers on a shelf.
I love it. That's hilarious.
I saw, actually, when I went to Rome, I got to see the Pope speak, and I drank a 40. I was drinking a 40 watching the Pope talk.
That's some poetic shit, dude.
Right, and I was like completely blown away. Like, I'm totally drinking on the street watching the Pope talk.
And nobody's judging you. You're just like, who's this guy?
No.
Oh, the fuck. That's the Pope.
Nobody was judging.
That's awesome. That's insane.
I mean, how
were
did
you judging yourself? It's like, what am I doing?
Well, I did wonder, like, are we gonna be the only ones that are gonna drink this early watching, but in my head I was like, they're selling it all around it here. How the hell is somebody not gonna buy it? That's in my head. I was like, if it's open and they're selling it, it's because people buy it this early.
Yeah, they wouldn't sell it this early if it wasn't encouraged. Just nudging the guy beside you, hey bro, you want a beer? Well, I can't. I'm not drinking alone.
Yeah, if people didn't need it at that time, then why would they even be open?
That's right. That's right. That's funny.
But I remember that. Watching the Pope give some speech, drinking a 40, some Italian beer. I forgot what it was.
That's so awesome. Fuck. That's funny.
But what you up to tonight, man? You got any plans? What time is it by you right now?
Hmm. 20 to 12.
Damn. You're 2 hours ahead.
2 hours ahead. I gotta pop on the early morning radio show at 12. I think that's my only plan. But
You're on at midnight with overseas?
yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You should come on sometime. That'd be fucking hilarious.
What can I listen to you on? Like when we get off, what do I got to put on to listen to you on?
Just go SLERadio.com.
Okay, and it'll be on the main page?
If you want to keep talking, I can get him to fucking Zoom us there, and we can both talk through Zoom on the radio. It's fucked.
Well, I mean, I got some editing to
do some shit. But one time, next time, we'll get Cristian Machado on live on the fucking radio one night.
Yeah, let me know.
That'd be 10 p.m. your time.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, next week I'm down to do it.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Sure. It'd be fun. Yeah, do your editing. I've kept you long enough. Your citizenship is granted. Welcome to Canada.
Did I pass my citizenship?
That's it. Right now, yeah. You just now.
But it was funny. It was funny as hell when you were like, bring your hockey stick. And I was like, when do I tell them I can't ice skate? Because in my head, I'm like,
no one can. They just
playing hockey.
I say you can play street hockey. You don't need skates for street hockey. It's fine.
Well,
just run around.
Street hockey, I'm a pro at that. In Jersey, that's
street
all.
Hockey. That's all you do is street hockey in Jersey. It's the same shit here. Street hockey. I'll put the fucking pads on. We'll just go shoot some pucks. Fuck it. Or tennis balls, whatever you got. Those hard ass orange balls.
Oh, dude. And when they hit you, they burn.
So much pain. I took one I was in the face once. I was like grade 6. That's my beak's all fucked up. I was playing net, just slap shot. Just blood everywhere. I was borrowing some girl's ball glove for like my catcher. And I was like, oh, just, here's your glove back. It's like, no, don't worry about it. It's like,
Yeah, those balls are fucking. Those things hurt, dude. I might have taken one to the crotch before.
That's right. Right in the thigh, too. Yeah, crotch thigh area. They sting. But that's fine. You get up to Canada.
The first time I ever felt like having like you know how when somebody does that to like one of your nuts or something like wow, you hit your nut the wrong way. The first time I ever had that feeling was from a hockey ball. Now that I remember. A hockey ball hit me in the nuts and I was like, ah! I don't want to play no more. I don't want to play.
I quit. Oh. There, I let my cat in. My cat's coming in and out of this place like it's crazy.
He's checking up on you, bro. He's like, is he dead yet? Can I eat him?
Yeah, fuck. He's fucking crazy, that fucking cat, man. Holy shit. He has no fucking problem. He's running the goddamn house. He's awesome. He'll sit there and he'll like, the other night I was eating a piece of chicken here. I was watching your interview with Dusty actually on Saturday. I watched that. I caught the replay. And I'm just sitting here eating, fucking grub it out, and this fucking cat's over here and he like jumps in front of me and tries to like pull the goddamn thing out of my mouth. Like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? It's like trying to jump on the garbage can after. They're crazy. He's awesome.
Diego's got a cat that's kind of like that. That's super aggressive.
Is he a black cat?
Well, he died recently,
Oh,
but he was super aggressive. If he saw you eating, he'll get right up in your face like, bro, what you got in your hand, bro?
What is that? Come on, what you got?
Yep.
It's a boy cat thing. That's funny.
Yeah, it was a boy cat. Yeah.
There you go. That's funny.
Is that our boy cats more like that, more aggressive with the food?
Seems to be. Like we got two girls. They don't care about people food, but this guy, holy fuck. My other boy cat I used to have before he passed, yeah, he'd be there waiting. Anything he dropped on the ground was fucking, it's over. Whatever. He'd just sit. He'd try to trip you while you're making your food. He'd like weave in between your legs. See if you could drop something on the floor for him type thing. Till he's pissed when
He's
he's
like, maybe if I rub him the right way, he'll throw something, Daddy.
I just got to trip him a little bit. I can't see me. Oh, damn it. That's good. That's good shit. All right. Well, I'm going to.
That's funny. I'm gonna trip him so he drops the food. That's why the cat's like this in between your legs.
They're not trying to get attention. They're trying to fucking trip you.
He's trying to trip you, freaking hand the food over.
It's a pro tip. That's what they're doing. Sizing you up. Yeah, man.
Well, hey, brother, then have a great show then.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. It's just sleradio.com.
Yeah. I want to listen to it. While I edit, I could, I'd like to have talk.
Oh yeah, it's
like
yeah. We talk and we play tunes, and it's all indie artists. It's eclectic. You'll hear everything. We'll play some of your shit as we do. So
right on. I'm gonna listen to it then.
All right, sounds good, dude. Thanks, man. That was fun.
Brother. Hey,
have happy holidays.
Stay safe out there, bro.
You too, buddy. I will talk to you soon.
Don't let the government steal your COVID relief money.
You either.
They already got it.